Hi Beth, it's so great to see you again. I just wanted to ask you how your involvement with LSM began and how long you've been working with LSM.
Great question. I had heard of LSM many years ago. One of my former mentors in life he had served on the board, and he asked if I might be interested, knowing my interest in music and a little bit of my background. And so it was about 7 years ago. I was asked to become part of the Lutheran Summer Music Board of Directors, and proudly served in that role. For a number of years, and now today look forward, even though I'm not on the board, still fully participating in every way that we can. What do you think are maybe the three most important factors in when you're teaching a piano student at the level of LSM?
Oh wow, that's a good question. I guess, well, I try to approach everyone as an individual, like no one size fits all approach, because everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and so you try to determine those and then help them grow. Because it's also such a short, it's 4 weeks, which I guess when you're that age, it seems like a long time to be away from home, but really it's not that long of a time to be with a student. So I try to first like develop a relationship with them because you want them to be comfortable to make mistakes in the studio and experiment. Yeah, and so I try to make them comfortable and then figure out what can they work on, especially within this amount of time that I know them. And then after that, I try to give them some kind of goals for the year after, hoping that they'll come back to LSM and we'll continue to see how they've grown. But yeah, I try to give them something to work on beyond LSM then. I know you have a very musical background, and I would just love to hear more about that.
Oh, thanks, Christina. Yes. Well, I grew up in a very musical family. Both my mother and my aunt were vocal and piano majors at Carthage College many years ago, when it was even Carthage College in Illinois. And so grew up and had those great opportunities. My aunt was my first piano teacher, and so I knew that at some point music was going to be a part of my vocation in the future. So majored in music and music therapy at Wartburg College, and then on to Michigan State University. And so spent some early years in both teaching and then in practice in California, as well as Illinois. And so that's how I got started, and serve today as the director of music for our local Lutheran congregation, St. James.
Wow, it's amazing. And now you're also making it possible for so many other young people to learn and pursue music too.
So, Christina, you've been with LSM for a number of years. Why do you return? What is the draw for you?
I think first, it's such a unique environment having faith and music be equal partners, which I haven't found at any other festival. And then the other part is just I love the community we've built there, and some of the faculty there are now I consider like my personal, like really dear friends that I text every day. And so I look forward to seeing them all again and playing music together every summer. So I really just can't wait to go back.
That's great. Wow.
So Beth, I wanted to ask you why you chose to support my studio in particular, and also why you continue to support LSM.
Great question. I think it goes back to my first introduction to LSM was, wow, this is such an incredible place of exactly what you said, combining faith and music. I wish it had existed when I would have been of the age to take part, but that's a little bit, that was part of the past. So I think the fact that it exists and it's gone through some ups and downs, but today it's just such an exciting, energetic place to be. And I think particularly because supporting your piano studio in particular means so much, because there was something about when we first met that I could tell that we had some kindred spirits in just our love of music, but a love of piano. And of course, piano is my major instrument. And So it just makes sense to support you, to support the piano studio, and see all the great things that are happening with your students year after year.
Wow, I appreciate that so much. And I can't wait to keep you updated on what happens this summer with the students.